Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Monday morning, about 5, April 6th. Um, Very difficult weekend this weekend. Just trying to take all this in, do as much research and homework as I possibly can on this. Um, and the more time that goes by, the more content I take in, the more dire this situation feels or is becoming. Um, I'm very worried, very concerned about where this is headed, where we are. I'm actually very concerned about where we are. Um, I guess less concerned about where we're going because I can kind of see the writing on the wall, and I'm worried about the populace, the people, and I'm trying to imagine a happy ending, and it's getting more and more difficult as time goes by. And it's not what people think. It's not the end as they've been taught in movies and on television. There's not some nuclear bomb coming to wipe us all out. It's not going to look like that. You know, there's a war going on out here between good and evil, and people don't see it. People don't see it. We're too socially conditioned. We're too brainwashed. You know, people think they can't be brainwashed, and it's an absurdity. You know, we have little or no control over our thoughts. They're given to us. They're provided to us, and since we have the ability, and since we have free will, we think that we are practicing it at all times, and that's just not true. I would say the majority of time, if not all the time, we're just going through the motions of the programming that we've been given. Whether that's participating in the rat race or anything else. And to be honest, I'm really exhausted, and I'm just tired, and I don't know what I'm fighting for. I don't know why I care. I don't know why I'm putting up a fight, or why I go against the grain, or try to question the narrative, because I get ridiculed and called names and made fun of and ostracized for not believing the narrative, which we all know isn't the truth, and it's definitely not the whole truth. And there's not a person that's hearing my voice right now that can argue with that, because we all know 100% for a fact in our heart that they cannot tell us the truth. We all know that. So I'm sick and tired of being ridiculed and being condescended about, oh, well, I know this is difficult for you to get your head around. Bullshit. It's not that difficult for me to get my head around. I know, and you know, they can't tell us the truth. It's that simple. One word: confidential. They can't tell us the truth. There's conversations going on behind closed doors that don't get provided to the general public, because the general public can't handle the truth. And that is a fact. It's a fact. But people will still disagree with me right now and say that's not true. Those people are delusional. And I'm tired of catering my language and my vocabulary and my train of thought to delusional people. I'm tired of bowing down to delusional, brainwashed people. I've had enough. I'm tired. I'm exhausted, and I won't be silenced anymore. I'm not going to be bullied anymore by people that just go along with the narrative regardless of if it's based in fact or not. I only want to deal with facts. And because the large majority of the population can't handle facts and can't deal with facts, it means the rest of us that are prepared for the facts and ready for the facts don't get them and can't receive them. So we get lied to along with you. And that's what I'm tired of. Because you can't handle the truth doesn't mean the rest of us can't handle the truth. And I'm fed up. And the same people that can't handle the truth want to ridicule me. So I have to come out here and put my livelihood on the line. We need to talk about facts, people. Facts. And when I question the narrative and I go against the grain, people want to make fun of me. The same people that want to ridicule me and make fun of me, whenever we talk about history, and I'm talking about real history, and people are like, well, how did the Holocaust happen? Why didn't anybody stand up and say anything? Why did all those people go along with it? Propaganda, right? That's what we're told, propaganda. So here we are, this many years later, and propaganda, and if you believe propaganda died in World War II, you're part of the problem. Propaganda didn't die in the 40s. It's only been refined since then. It's been mastered since then. So since people didn't question the narrative in the 40s because of all the propaganda, the Holocaust happened. So here we are, this many years later, this many decades later, and someone questions the narrative, and we're ridiculed. We're persecuted. So while you're at the theater watching Fast and the Furious 12, or binge watching Netflix, Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, The Kardashians, Next Top Model, makeovers, all this bullshit that's pointless and meaningless, there's people like me that are reading both sides. We're doing our homework, we're doing our research, we're questioning things, we're asking why. And then we get outcast for our beliefs. And I'm reading both sides, by the way. I'm reading the articles that say death rate 0.66% and the articles that say death rate 11%. I'm reading both sides and I get ridiculed and I get ostracized from the conversation. While you're at home watching Tiger King, I'm the idiot. I'm the moron because I've done my homework and I'm questioning the narrative. How dare you ridicule me for questioning a narrative that you and I both know isn't 100% factual? You have to know that. No matter what you believe, you have to know for a fact that the narrative isn't 100% of the information and it's not 100% correct because it can't be, because people can't handle it. So how dare you ridicule me for questioning what they're not telling us? Because you and I both know that they're not telling us everything. And you want to discount my belief because you believe the propaganda. So, since there's a strong likelihood that this economic collapse that we're in the middle of, there's a strong possibility that I'm going to lose my business anyway, I have nothing to lose at this point. I have nothing to lose at this point. Everything I've worked for my entire life could be taken out from underneath me. Things that are way beyond my control, just like hundreds of thousands of other Americans have worked their entire life to have everything wiped away and taken from them. I got nothing to lose. We can't even agree on facts. We can't even agree on facts. And then when I question the official narrative, I'm the crazy person. I'm the lunatic. I'm the person that can't get my head around it. That's what I keep hearing. I know this is difficult, Matt. I know this is hard for you to get your head around. When all you've been listening to is the news. I've been doing the homework. I've been doing the research. So while you're at home watching Tiger King, I'm doing the research. I'm questioning why they're not telling us the truth. Where is the truth? We can't even agree on facts. And the problem is the people on the wrong side of history are the ones that are going to ruin it for everybody. There are people that are on the wrong side of history. I can give you a perfect example. Cannabis. Cannabis is a perfect example in this country. What are we talking about on cannabis at this point? It's 2020. We know better. We all know better. We all know cannabis should not be Schedule 1 and never should have been Schedule 1. Yet here we are, divided as a nation on what to do with cannabis. Cannabis has the pharmaceutical industry on its knees right now. Pharmaceutical industry is spending more money on research and development and coming up with fewer and fewer solutions and fewer results from all their work and all their money. The pharmaceutical industry is on their knees right now. Here we go. We'll talk about facts. Here's facts. Let me see if I can find you a little something right here. I'm gonna mess this name up, but opioid. This was I'm gonna mess the date up here. I think this was in 2019. Fact check it, but this actually happened. Okay, opioid manufacturer Insys Therapeutics has agreed to pay a $225 million settlement to resolve the federal government's criminal and civil investigations into the company's illegal marketing of a powerful but highly addictive painkiller. I'll read that again. Opioid manufacturer Insys Therapeutics has agreed to pay a $225 million settlement to resolve the federal government's criminal and civil investigations. The federal government had a criminal and federal investigation against a pharmaceutical company So resolve the federal government's criminal and civil investigation into the company's illegal marketing of a powerful but highly addictive painkiller. Powerful but highly addictive painkiller, prosecutors said Wednesday. As part of the deal, Insys Therapeutics will pay $2 million criminal fine and $28 million in forfeiture, as well as $195 million to settle allegations that it violated the Federal False Claims Act, which the company's operating subsidiary will plead guilty to 5 counts of mail fraud, according to a statement from the U.S. Attorney's Office to the District of Massachusetts. Insys Therapeutics officials said the deferred prosecution agreement with the government is in the best interest of the company and its stakeholders. Well, congratulations, it's in y'all's best interest. Insys Therapeutics believes that the agreements with the Department of Justice, Office of Inspector General, and the Department of Health and Human Services and certain U.S. attorneys' offices are in the best interest of the company and its stakeholders, the company said in a statement to ABC News. These agreements include a corporate integrity agreement and conditional exclusion release between Insys and OIG, in which OIG agrees it will not seek to exclude Insys Therapeutics from key healthcare programs if it complies with the terms of the agreement. So basically, we'll pat your bag if you pat mine. So we'll prosecute you, give you a minimal fine of $225 million, and let's go find out how much this company made last year. A minimal fine for breaking federal law, lying to people about opioid, which, oh, by the way, is derived from what plant? Oh, by the way, opium. Opium. Hello, opium. Do we not know what opium does to the body? Do we not know how addictive opium is? These are legal drug dealers. Legal drug dealers. So we'll take care of you. You pay this little fine, and we'll make sure you don't get booted from. We'll make sure you don't get booted from all these other federal programs. It agrees it will not seek to exclude Insys Therapeutics from the key healthcare programs if it complies with the terms of the agreement, thus enabling the company to continue providing its products to patients who depend on them. So we're going to make sure you can still we can still peddle your medication as long as you abide by these little rules. Prosecutors said that Insys Therapeutics used sham speaker programs from August 2012 to 2015. 2012, 13, 14, 15. 4 years they lied to people. How many billions of dollars did they make in those 4 years? And they got a $225 million fine. 4 years they lied to people. That means they lied to doctors, they lied to patients, they lied to medical staff. They lied to people for 4 years to make a profit. And they got a slap on the wrist and didn't even lose their ability to conduct business. They got a fine. They knowingly lied to people for profit. Oh, man. Prosecutors said that Insys Therapeutics used sham speaker programs from August 2012 to 2015 to pay bribes and kickbacks to doctors and nurse practitioners in exchange for writing prescriptions for Subsys, a fentanyl-based medication that's sprayed under the tongue and used for increasing the dosage of those prescriptions. A fentanyl-based medication. They are deliberately giving people fentanyl. Is fentanyl all in the news right now? Is it not all over the news how deadly this substance is? How they're putting fentanyl. Listen, fentanyl is so deadly that they're warning illegal drug users, heroin users, to watch out. Cocaine users to watch out because there's fentanyl in their drugs and it's killing people. But the legal drug pushers of this country, the ones that are licensed in this country to sell drugs, are pushing fentanyl on people. One practitioner was a physician assistant in New Hampshire who prosecutors said did not write any Subsys prescriptions until joining the Insys Therapeutics Speakers program in May 13. After joining the program, the assistant wrote approximately 672 prescriptions. 672 people. This person never wrote a single prescription until they were convinced by these false claims to write these prescriptions. So while you guys are out at the movie theater watching Fast and the Furious 44, and people like me are at home are doing a research, trying to understand what's going on in this world, and I'm being ridiculed and mocked, we can't even agree on facts. There are people that still believe almost 51 years later that 2 men walked on the moon in 1969. Again, you're on the wrong side of history. You're on the wrong side of history. It is a physical impossibility that 2 men walked on the moon in 1969. Do your homework. Do your research. They can't tell us the truth because you people can't handle it. And I'm sick and tired of it. I'm fed up. I'm done. I'm done. You people can't handle the truth. So I have to suffer because you people can't handle the truth. I have to live in bizarro world because you people can't handle the truth. I'm exhausted. I'm done. You people are asleep at the wheel. I can't take it anymore. I can't. I'm fed up. I'm fed up. I can't do it. I can't do this anymore. Because you can't handle the facts, we don't get the facts. I mean, isn't that what they tell us? Isn't that what they tell us? When even as simple as the branch of the government, that the police department that pulls you over, just tell us the truth. If you're under investigation for something, that's what they tell you. If you get stopped on the street, just tell us the truth. If you got nothing to hide, just tell us the truth. If you got nothing to hide, just tell us. Why does the government have so many classified documents? If they've got nothing to hide, why is so much stuff classified? Because you people can't handle the truth. Which means we're living in a society based on false information and partial information. You can't have actual freedom without having all the information. Right now we have the illusion of freedom. You have to have facts to live in freedom. You can't draw a box this big. You can't draw a box this big and allow people in this box to do whatever they want and say, this is freedom. This is all the information you're allowed to have. You have all the freedom in the world to do whatever you want as long as it's within this box. Because all this information that's out here is the truth. This is freedom. This is the freedom that we don't have. Because you're being told that everything is in this box. And you're being told there's nothing to see outside of this box. Don't worry, there's nothing to see here. There's nothing to see here outside of this box. Don't look now. This isn't important. We're not telling you for your own best interest. It's for your security. It's for your security that you're in this box. Think about that. You need to shut off the television and think about that for a minute. Do you have freedom, or do you have the illusion of freedom? I mean, almost every adult has been cheated on by their significant other. And you can use this type of relationship as an analogy as our relationship with the people that are running this country. Because if you're in a relationship with somebody, and let's just say this person's cheating on you, so what does this person do? Withhold information from you? Of course, they're not going to tell you they're texting somebody else. They're not going to tell you they're flirting with somebody at work. They're not going to tell you that. They're withholding information from you. They're withholding information from you. Why? Because they want to control your behavior. Because they know that information, if they provide it to you, is detrimental to their cause. It's going to affect them getting what they want, which is what they want. They want you at home doing what you're doing, and they also want this side piece over here. And if they tell you the truth, then they know that's going to alter your behavior or make it much more difficult for them to keep conducting business the way they're conducting it. You may not break up with them, but if you know about it, it's going to be a lot harder for them to do it, right? Because you're going to start asking questions. Hey, where are you going? What are you doing? So same thing. The government can't tell us because then we're going to start asking questions. Once you realize they're not telling us because they want to control our beliefs, we're going to start asking questions. So while your significant other's out cheating on you and not telling you, it's because they're trying to control your behavior. They're trying to control how you act. Because they know the truth makes it difficult to continue on this path. And until you start asking for answers, you're not going to get them. Until you sacrifice a little bit of your innocence to understand something is very wrong here. Something is very wrong here. If they will tell you 50 years, think about this, 50 years after they faked it landing on the moon. 50 years later, they're still telling you that they went. You need to understand why that's a big deal. And if you don't understand why that's a big deal, then you need to stop listening to me and get as far away from me as possible. Get as far away from me as possible. I don't want you near me. I don't want you around me. If you don't understand why them lying publicly for 50 years is a problem, then we have nothing to talk about. 50 years. And that's just one piece of the puzzle. That's just one piece. And if you don't understand why that's such a big deal, you're beyond help. You are beyond help. You are so conditioned. You are so much in love with this significant other because you think this big red, white, and blue dick you've been beat over the head with your entire life, this illusion of the perfect partner, the illusion of freedom. You bought into this illusion for so long that you just can't believe that this person would cheat on you. You can't believe this person would lie to you. You just can't believe it. But again, just because you can't believe it doesn't mean it's not happening. Doesn't mean it's not real. You don't want this person to be lying to you, but they are. I don't even know what to say at this point. I don't even know what to say. They're lying to you. Why would they lie 50 years later? How do you not understand why that's such a big deal? They went on television in July of last year and said, 50-year anniversary to landing on the moon. It's a physical impossibility. It's a mathematical impossibility. It's a physical impossibility, and you're still believing it. And the fact that you don't understand why that's a big deal is a huge problem. Like, I feel like I'm in a carload of drunks. I'm driving. You ever been in a car full of drunks? You ever been the designated driver? And the conversation that's happening in the car, like you just don't understand. It's so far off the reservation. Like they're talking about a homosexual, tiger-loving from Oklahoma with a mullet, and you're like, what is happening? Like I'm in bizarro world right now, and I keep waiting for people to sober up. But you people are drunk on this. You're drunk on this. And you can't reason with drunks. You ever try to reason with these drunks? You ever try to tell them like, hey, this isn't real. Whatever you're talking about, it's not real. This isn't really happening. You're just making this stuff up. I mean, I feel like I'm in a car full of delusional people. I'm in a carload of drunks that no matter how untrue something is, they just keep harping on it and beating on it and they keep thinking that it's real. It's not real. It's not real. And you need to understand that they're lying to you. And I'm fed up. I'm fed up with not being able to get the truth because some people are 50 years behind the truth. You're 50 years behind. We can never get the truth if some people don't grasp what's really going on. And I hope, I pray every day that this, whatever's happening right now, wakes more people up. I hope people finally reach the end of Netflix and start doing their homework on what's really going on right now. I hope people start doing their homework on history and paying attention to what propaganda is and understanding that these people are lying to us for their benefit, not for ours. Do you understand that? When your significant other's been cheating on you for 50 years, they're not withholding that information for your benefit. They're withholding it for their benefit. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you that you're being lied to. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you that you're being cheated on. I'm sorry I'm the one telling you that it's all bullshit. But if you don't stop drinking the Kool-Aid, if you don't stop being drunk on the nonsense, I mean, you are completely intoxicated on propaganda. Intoxicated on propaganda. And you're addicted to it. You don't even realize you have a problem. You're addicted to it. It's almost beyond your control. Almost beyond your control. The only thing you lack is the awareness. The awareness that you're being lied to. The awareness that it's propaganda. The awareness that it is a 100% physical impossibility that two men walked on the moon in 1969. And that is the linchpin. If you can just grasp that concept, at least consider it long enough to go do your own homework. You've got time. You're stuck at home right now. You've got time to go look into this. At least grasp the concept of why this is happening. That's the linchpin. That is the linchpin. They've been lying for 50 years about this one event. Imagine what else they're lying about. Don't even take my word for it. Go do your own research. Go back and prove it to yourself that it happened. Don't go back and try to prove that it didn't happen. Go back and watch it and try to tell yourself that it's real. Go back and watch it. Think about all the impossibilities. Think about all the impossibilities that had to have happened to make that real. I mean, you have to understand, right now, it's 2020, and NASA publicly tells people that it is a physical impossibility to go to the moon right now. NASA is saying that. Again, fact check, go look for yourself. NASA is telling us right now that it is a physical impossibility to put a man on the moon. Do you not understand that you are so brainwashed and so conditioned that you still believe a physical impossibility happened and it's physically impossible to get there now? That these two beliefs exist in your head simultaneously, and it's an impossibility for them both to be real. Yet you hold both of these beliefs in your head at the same time. Until you question that, go do your own homework. Go do your own research. Go look up Van Allen radiation belts. This is exactly why they can't get to the moon. They can't get there. You need to understand that. It's a physical impossibility. They can't get there. Once you understand that you've been getting lied to and you've been getting cheated on for 50 years, 50 years you've been getting lied to, that's the linchpin. And I don't mean the linchpin for everybody, but for most people, once they grasp, once it's going to break your heart. It's going to break your heart. Because I was a believer. I wear this on my arm every single day. You see this? I don't know if you can see that. Look at that. I wear this on my arm every single day. Red, white, and blue. I was a believer. I bought it. I believed it. I thought we went to the moon too. And it broke my heart to find out that we didn't. It hurt me that my entire belief system crumbled. Everything I thought I knew crumbled. Everything I thought I stood for disappeared in a moment. And I started to realize that I'd been lied to. That this person, this thing, this idea was fake. It wasn't real. It was propaganda. And I fell for it. And once I pulled that linchpin, it came down like a waterfall. It all fell apart. Once I pulled the linchpin, it was over with. Then I started looking for the truth. Not the narrative, the truth. And believe me, there's a difference. And you know deep down in your heart that that's the case too. You know that the truth and the narrative isn't the same. No matter what you believe, whether you believe what I'm saying or you believe the opposite or anywhere in between, you know that the truth isn't being given to us because it can't, because people can't handle it. And you know that, and I know that. People can't handle the truth, which is why we can't get it. And I don't want to live in a world where we can't get the truth. I can't exist like this. I can't walk around in a world full of zombies. Whether it's their fault or not, I can't live in a world full of zombies. I can't be the only sober person in this car. I can't live in Bizarro world. I can't live in a world where people think we landed on the moon in 1969. I mean, common sense will tell you it was a physical impossibility. Science will tell you it's an impossibility. Math will tell you it's an impossibility. NASA will tell you it's an impossibility. The only thing NASA ever sent to space was your imagination. And once you understand that, once you accept that, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt real bad. But once you understand that, things will start changing. Things will start changing. Once you start waking up from this, once you stop drinking the Kool-Aid, because once you turn on one switch and turn off the other, it's going to be like the floodgates open. It's going to be like the floodgates open. Once you turn off propaganda and turn on your own homework and turn on your own research, because you've got time to do it now, and the truth is out there. And I forget who said it, but they said in the information age, to be ignorant is a choice. And people need to understand the internet has provided us with all the details, all the information. Again, there's still secrets out there. There's still stuff we can't get to, but the internet has saved us. If it wasn't for the internet, this thing would have been over a long time ago. The information is still out there, and we are at war. We are at war. The people putting out the propaganda are trying to silence the people on the internet with the truth. They're trying to scrub the internet of the truth. They're hiding search results. They're scrubbing truthers from the web. They don't want the truth out there. But it still exists because the movement is getting too powerful. The movement is getting too strong. Too many people are waking up. Too many people are seeing through the bullshit. Too many people are realizing that their significant other's been lying to them and cheating on them. And yes, it hurts, but you're going to be better for it once you get over that pain. Once you get done grieving. Once you get past the denial, you will be better off. The age of deception is deteriorating every minute that goes by. Every person that wakes up, the truth movement gets stronger. And deception takes a hit. And lies take a hit. And people stop paying attention to propaganda. You know, there was a time in all this whenever I started to fear for my own life and fear for my own safety for knowing too much. But I realized now that was stupid. You know, that was stupid to even think that. They're not going to come after me. I'm nobody. I'm stupid. I'm ignorant. I'm just some dumbass in the middle of nowhere. And I don't know much of anything. But we as a people need to understand that there is something much bigger going on here. And you need to wake up. I don't know where your awakening is going to take you, but you need to understand that you're being lied to. And it's not for your own good. Anybody that lies to you and tells you it's for your own good, come on, man. Come on, man. Again, sacrifice your innocence a little bit. You have to realize there are some very, very bad people in this world. There are some very, very sick and disgusting people in this world. They will stop at nothing. They will stop at nothing. I mean, I'll keep using this analogy. This person that cheated on you, they know you intimately. At one point, I'm sure they cared for you or still care for you. They've seen you naked. They know all your deepest, darkest secrets, and they're going to go screw somebody else for their own benefit. They're not even getting anything substantial out of it. They're just going to go bang somebody, but they're going to lie to you. They're going to cheat on you. They're going to deceive you, and they know you intimately. On what planet, in what world do you live in that you think that someone that doesn't know you from Adam, some multimillionaire, some billionaire, gives a flying fuck about you? This person doesn't know you from Adam or Eve, and you think that they care about what's in your best interest. How delusional do you have to be to believe that a complete stranger that's never met you has your best interest in mind. But someone that knows you intimately that will go cheat on you for their own benefit. But a complete stranger wouldn't do that to you. They wouldn't lie to you. They wouldn't cheat on you. They wouldn't deceive you. They wouldn't keep information from you for their own benefit. You just don't believe that that's even a possibility. That's how conditioned you are. That's how brainwashed you are. And I get to say that. I'm allowed to say you, because I was you. I was brainwashed. I was conditioned. And I probably still am. I probably still don't see to the bottom of this thing. But I'm at least aware that this is happening. And that's where it starts. And that's why I say start with the moon landing. It's the easiest thing. Just go disprove it. And actually, I've had this conversation with several people, and they agree with me. They're like, yeah, you're right. It didn't happen. I understand. But no big deal. Who cares? They keep saying, no big deal. Who cares? Why does that matter? Why does it matter? It's 1969. We have the technology now. Do we? Again, NASA's saying that we don't. So people keep skipping too many steps. They keep saying that, well, we didn't go then, but we can go now. No, we can't. We haven't made a trip to the moon since 72. That's been almost 50 years ago and nobody's been, because we can't go. Well, we have the technology now. No, we don't. It's an impossibility. It's a physical impossibility. Van Allen radiation belts. Go do your homework. But we, for some reason, are so conditioned, we continue to give NASA billions of dollars out of our money. Billions of dollars. I think $27 billion this past year. Something goofy. 19 billion, I forget. Go look. For what? For photographs? For CGI? CGI? Digitally manufactured, hand-produced images? What are we talking about here? And we keep believing it. Well, we have the technology now. Do we? You know, I tried over the weekend to understand another way to explain to people that this thing in 1969 didn't happen the way we thought it did, or the way we've been told. And people keep saying, so what? We had the technology now. Okay, well, I went and looked at this other most recent, again, propaganda. Felix Baumgartner in 2017 did this high skydive. Remember this? Does everybody remember this? Like I'm trying to again wake people up and make people understand what's going on here. Does everybody remember this thing from 2017? Well, Felix Baumgartner got with whoever and put on this project of this highest free fall and fastest free fall and longest free fall and all these things, highest man in a balloon, try to go for all these records, okay? So since 1969 is too far back for people to really grasp and understand how big of a deal that is and why that's so significant and why we don't have the technology now, 2017 is when this happened, okay? As I was watching watching this coverage of this event in 2017, I noticed a lot of issues with the video, okay? A lot of issues with the actual video and the wide-angle lens cameras and all this stuff. Go back and watch. It's very weird to watch. Again, even now, it's very unusual to watch, okay? A lot of what they say doesn't make sense during the broadcast. A lot of the statements that they make, a lot of the content during the video is very unusual whenever you're really listening to what they're saying, okay? But some of the things that caught my attention during the broadcast was they mentioned that this project, this happened in 2017, October of 2017, and those of you that don't know or didn't watch, they mentioned that this project originally started 7 years earlier. The talk started 7 years earlier, which would have been in 2010 is when they started talking about this. And in 2012, which was 2 years later, they said 5 years prior to the jump is when things actually started going. Okay, so it took them 7 years, 2 years of talking about it, and then 5 years in testing and development to make it happen. Okay, so think about this. If we went to the moon in 1969, why did it take us 5 years? 5 years of research and development to figure out how to get a guy to jump out of a balloon at 120,000 feet. Ask yourself that. 5 years of research and development went into figuring out how to get this guy to jump out of a balloon, basically, at 120,000 feet. When we went to the moon 50 years earlier, in the 60s. So in the 60s, we had enough technology to send 3 men on a 500,000 mile round trip. A 500,000 mile round trip back and forth to the moon. And in 2017, it took us 5 years to figure out how to get a guy to jump out of out of a balloon at 120,000 feet. 5 years of research and development. Does it make sense? It doesn't add up. What are we talking about here? And again, allegedly, the previous record, while you're watching the broadcast, the previous record was held from 1960 by John Kittinger. So in 1960, and he jumped out of 103,000 feet. So John Kittinger in 1960 jumped out of a balloon at 103,000 feet. In the 60s, 1960. And it took us 5 years of research and development in 2010, 2012, up to 2017 to put a man in a balloon and have him skydive from 120,000 feet. Think about that. Are you even listening to what I'm telling you right now? 5 years of research and development for technology we've had for 50 years. I mean, think how far everything has developed from 1960. Commercial air travel, technology, phone technology, any technology you can put your hands on, automobiles. Think of how far this technology has come in 50 years, especially in the last 10 or 15 or 20 since 2000. And in 2010, they thought, hey, I wonder if we can beat this record from 1960. So they talked about it for 2 years. And then in 2012, it took them 5 years of research and development to come up with a suit, a balloon, and a vessel to go to 120,000 feet. It took them 5 years of research and development and testing. I mean, what planet do you live on? How conditioned do you have to be to believe this? 5 years. And oh, by the way, this is so bizarre that people believe this. He set a free fall speed record of 729 miles an hour. Hold on. Excuse me? Do people really believe everything they see on television to the point where you actually believe that this human being was free falling at a speed of 729 miles per hour? Go watch the video. Go watch the video. He's not free falling at 730 miles an hour. It's an impossibility. It's a scientific impossibility. It's a mathematical impossibility. If he was free falling at 700 miles an hour, it would have ripped his head off. The muscles in his neck aren't strong enough to hold his head straight to be traveling at 730 miles an hour. I mean, you're driving on the freeway and you roll your window down. Try sticking your arm out straight, and if you could hold your arm at 80 miles an hour. How much force that takes to hold your arm straight. Now imagine going 730 miles an hour. How's that going to work for you? 730 miles an hour. Think about that. You're so conditioned and brainwashed, you think that's an actual thing. You think that's a physical possibility. It's a physical impossibility for someone to free fall at a speed of 730 miles an hour. How did he accelerate to that speed? Think about it. How did he get going that fast? He wasn't thrown. He wasn't rocketed out of this thing. He free fell from it. He jumped from it. How did he get going 730 miles an hour? How did his body, go look at the suit he's wearing. How did that turd hold up at 730 miles an hour? Just think of the military aircraft that breaks the sound barrier, which is like 800 miles an hour. Think of what this equipment looks like. How aerodynamic it must be. And you think a human being, I mean, imagine being in this military jet traveling at the sound of speed and then hitting the eject button and being thrown from this thing. What that's going to do to your body. I mean, what other information needs to come into your brain? Don't let this go in one ear and out the other. Let it kick this around a little while. How does someone free fall at a speed of 730 miles an hour? Somebody's going to have to explain that to me. And I know the first thing they're going to say is, oh, well, he was up so high, there's not enough air, it's thin air, da da da. Bullshit. Bullshit. It's bullshit. You cannot free fall at a speed of 729 miles per hour. It cannot happen. It's a scientific impossibility. And again, let's just pretend it's real. Pretend it's real. Why are other people not doing this? Where's the capitalist in this? Why is the private sector not capitalizing on this? Why are people not jumping out of balloons every single day at 100,000 feet if this is a real thing? It's obviously not that dangerous. People jump out of airplanes every single day at 20, 30, 40,000 feet. Every single day. Well, that may not be true. Somebody go look that up. How high do people normally skydive from? I know commercial airliners go at 40,000 feet. Do people skydive at 40,000 feet? What are we talking about here? Well, the air is too thin. Sure, he was wearing oxygen. I'll give you that. I mean, this is bizarre, people. This is bizarre that we actually believe this guy jumped out of a hot air balloon, and not a hot air balloon, a helium balloon. Think about it. They're telling you that a helium balloon got this guy up to 120,000 feet. Doesn't a helium balloon work on the fact that the helium's thinner than the air at this height on the ground? That the helium is thinner? The helium's lighter than air? Isn't that the whole point? So how does a helium balloon, as you get higher and higher and higher, and thinner air, so is helium just lighter than every bit of air ever? Well, it's lighter until you get to 130,000 feet or 128,000 feet, and then it balances out. Really? Really? If that was the case, if you filled up a balloon at ground level with helium, it would be so light, one little balloon would pull a human being up off the ground. If a balloon this size would pull a human being up to 128,000 feet, and look how slow, go watch the video, look how slow it pulls him up. Look how slow it pulls him up to allegedly 128,000 feet. And this is so bizarre that people believe that this guy did 730 miles an hour. Go watch the video. He's tumbling at 730 miles an hour. He's not flying perfectly straight with his helmet down forward. He's tumbling. If you were on a motorcycle, they always tell you if you're in an accident or if you had to lay your bike down to slide. Because once you start to tumble, you're in trouble. You're going to start breaking bones. You're going to break your neck. You're going to break your arm. You're going to break your leg. Don't tumble. You need to slide. So how is this guy setting a speed record of 730 mile an hour free fall while he's tumbling? Go watch the video. And then sure enough, moments later, when he miraculously slows down like 100 miles an hour in a split second, before he hits his chute, by the way, he goes from tumbling to allegedly falling at a normal skydive, and he slowed down 100 miles an hour. How are you tumbling going faster than at a normal skydive? And then once he slows down to about 600 miles an hour, he pulls his chute at 6,000 feet. So he's at 6,000 feet doing 600 miles an hour. So now you can't give me the excuse that the air's so thin that that's how he's able to go that fast, and that's why he's not getting his arms and legs ripped off, because he's going 600 miles an hour outside the atmosphere. At 6,000 feet, he's very much within the atmosphere, and when he pulls his chute at 6,000 feet and he slows down immediately, how does someone go from 6,000 over 600 miles an hour to pulling their chute? How does that not rip both of his arms off? He's wearing a backpack with a parachute in it, doing 600 miles an hour, and he pulls that chute, and it brings him almost to a complete stop. How does that not rip his arms off? Think of going from 600 miles an hour to slowing down to a drift almost instantly. I mean, you need to stop suspending reality when you're watching television, because that's what you do. As soon as you turn on the television, you just suspend reality. So go back to 2017 and watch the tape. Go back and evaluate it. If 1969 is too far back for you, go back to 2017 and ask yourself, why would they lie? Why would they still be lying? Why are they still not telling us the truth? Ask yourself, why would they lie? Is this real? Go look at it. Go look at it. Oh, man. I don't know what to do anymore. I don't. I'm lost. Like I said, I live in bizarro world. I live in upside down world where deception is the norm. Lies are the norm. Propaganda is the norm. And I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired of being the sober one in a car full of delusional drunks talking about Game of Thrones and Tiger King and the Kardashians. And I mean, I'm done. I can't physically do this anymore. People are not waking up fast enough. I can't be the designated driver anymore. I can't be in this car that's going off this cliff. People to this day question or want to know why or how the Holocaust happened. It's because people didn't ask enough questions. And then when people like me ask questions, we get ridiculed. People are condescending. We get called names. We get told, well, I know this is difficult for you to get your head around. That's what I keep hearing. This is difficult for you to get your head around. It's really not. Because again, I'm the only sober person in the vehicle right now, and I got a bunch of drunk people that have been watching Tiger King and like I said, Fast and the Furious 12 and Game of Thrones and Walking Dead. All of these people are telling me that it's difficult for me to get my head around. All these people that live in fantasy land, all these people that live in TV land, all these people that live in propaganda land are telling me that I don't understand what's going on here, or this virus is too difficult for me to comprehend. It's not. You're drunk on propaganda. You're drunk on their power. You're drunk on the media. And I'm not. I'm begging you to please unplug your television, go outside and throw it in the trash, and start doing your own homework, doing your own research. Get off the tit. Quit drinking the Kool-Aid. Do your own homework. The truth is out there. Do your research. Don't take my word for it. I'm an idiot. I'm a dumbass. So go do your own homework. You know, I heard this great story recently about this guy, and this is his story. He's telling a story about how he's an atheist and he doesn't believe in the afterlife, any divine being or any divine creation. You know, Big Bang Theory is his go-to, whatever, okay? So regardless of your beliefs, this is his story, okay? But he says he's an atheist. And he met this guy, became friends with him, and they went fishing, and he actually turned out to be extremely religious Christian, okay? And while they were fishing, the Christian struck up a conversation about religion, and this guy said, "Nah, I'm a non-believer. I don't believe." He's like, "Hey, well, hey, that's great. I'm not going to try to push my beliefs on you, but there's somebody I want you to meet." And he wanted to introduce him to a preacher, pastor, whatever term you want to use. And the guy's like, "I'm not really interested, not for me." And he's like, "I'm not trying to force my beliefs on you. I just want you to meet this guy and draw your own conclusions." So he agreed to talk to this guy, agreed to meet him. So again, this is his testimony. So he meets this preacher, and this is in Denton, Texas. He meets this pastor, and the pastor's like, "Hey, I'm not trying to, get you to believe any particular way or guide your beliefs. I just want to understand your beliefs and why you believe what you believe." So he's like, "Well, what are you? What is your belief?" And he's like, "Well, I'm atheist. I don't believe in God." And the pastor is like, "Okay, well, why do you not believe in God? Explain to me why you're an atheist." He's like, "Oh, well, I just don't believe. Science and Big Bang Theory, da da da." He's like, "Well, I understand why that you believe in the Big Bang Theory, but why are you an atheist? Why do you not believe this is a creation?" It's like, I'm an atheist, that's why. He's like, well, you're not an atheist, you're lazy. And and let me explain that. And he explained it. He explained it to the atheist like this. He said, "You're not an atheist because you don't believe it. You're an atheist because you haven't done the homework to prove to yourself that there isn't a divine being, that there's not a creator, that there's not a religious or spiritual depth to this that we're in. You've just decided on your own or through propaganda that none of this is real and none of this has a spiritual component to it. The television told you and science has told you that none of this is real. You haven't done your own homework. You haven't done your own research. So you're not an atheist. You're lazy." And that's where I feel like we are as a people. We're just too lazy to go do our own homework. We're too lazy to go do our own research. So we just identify. Oh, well, the television told me this, so I believe it. Well, it's the first thing that I heard, so that must be true. Go do your own homework. Turn off the television and go do your own research. Go see what's really going on out here. Because if you're going to believe the television every single time the television tells you something, again, even if you think I'm 100% wrong about everything I've said, if you have any amount of discernment, you have to understand that they can't tell us 100% of the truth. Right? You have to at least understand that. No matter what you believe, you have to understand that they can't tell us the whole truth. And again, they have to not tell us information. You and I have to agree on that. Because if they told us the truth, these people that are freaking out buying toilet paper right now, what do you think they're going to do if we get told the truth? How do you think they're going to handle the truth? And it's difficult for me to have to live my life by your rules because you can't handle the truth. Because your critical thinking skills have been incapacitated by a television telling you what to do. So you no longer think critically about what's coming off of it. You just automatically believe it. You automatically take it as fact. Or you take it as 100% gospel when it's not. And you have to know in your heart that it's not 100% of the truth. Again, these people can't tell you the truth. It's detrimental to their cause. I mean, it would be like McDonald's coming out and telling you all of what goes on behind the scenes. If they told you about what's really in the food, if they told you really about how they make a profit, they can't tell you. You'd stop eating there. I mean, it's just that simple. You need to sacrifice your innards just a little bit and understand that that's a reality. That's not me making this up. I'm not faking that. They may not be directly lying to you, but they're deceiving you because they want you to behave a certain way by coming back and spending your money there. So why would they tell you the truth? It is of no benefit to them to tell you the truth. So why do you think the TV's telling you the truth? It's not to their benefit for you to have and know the truth. If they give you the truth, you won't keep jumping through these hoops. You won't keep giving them their money. You won't keep giving them your life force. They're afraid. They're afraid. They're scared. They're running scared. The truth is out there. The information is out there. You just have to want to find it. You have to stop ignoring it. Just like when you know your significant other's cheating on you, at first you try to ignore it. You don't want to believe it's true, so you run the other direction. You're still in the denial stage. You know deep down in your heart that something is very wrong here. And you know deep down in your heart when someone's lying to you, it's for their benefit and not yours. You need to understand that you're being manipulated. You're being deceived. And I can't wake you up. Nobody could wake me up. Nobody could have woke me up. I had to do that on my own. I had to go do my own homework. I had to go do my own research. I had to look into what's happening. I had to stop being lazy. So stop being lazy. I don't care what your religious beliefs are. I don't care your background. I don't care your financial status. I don't care about your clothing, your skin color, your age, your race, your sexual preference, your religious preference, your spiritual preference. I don't care about any of that. I care about the truth. We need to start living in the truth. We need to start agreeing on facts. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Everybody's entitled to their beliefs. The problem is everybody's beliefs are so different because the facts are hidden. They don't want us to agree with each other, which is why they're withholding the facts. They're withholding the truth because they don't want us to align. They don't want us to agree. They don't want us to come together. People need to start seeking out the truth and stop searching for confirmation bias. Stop reading the same thing over and over and acting like you're right. Oh, I read it here. I read the same thing over and over. No, go see the information that's out there. Don't go to YouTube and look up a newscast